And I'm just kind of curious what you plan on kind of doing with students, like, you know, with design thinking or just with the Mona Center for like future semesters, because I think this is like probably one of the most like rewarding classes I've ever taken. I think this is like, I'm constantly talking to my friends about this course and like how like much I'm learning from it, and I can like definitely reflect back on this like later in the future about like what I've learned. And I think it's such a rewarding experience outside of just, you know, from the first day you said like we're very happy to give you guys all A's, but like that's not really the point of this course. It's not just about the grade, but just simply about what you kind of take out of it. And I think there's like not enough like courses in college that really like focuses on that. And
all of it.
Floor is open.
I just wanted to reiterate, thank you so much for guiding us through this process. There were times in the design thinking process where we were frustrated, we had no clue what we were doing, we were drawing faces when we weren't supposed to. And it was really you three that kept coming around talking to us and guiding us through, well, think of it this way, how could this be improved in that way if you reframe it in your mind? And that's really broadened my perspective on how I think about the design thinking process and innovation in general.
Thank you.
No comments. You guys have all been in other classes.
so this isn't the first time I've been introduced to design thinking. It was like my first semester as a freshman in like my public leadership course that we had like a very short design thinking activity, and to be completely honest, I thought it was a little baloney. I was just like, but like the idea of like having an entire course dedicated to it and going through the process, and you know, in the first one little course I took my freshman year, it's not really gonna make me really understand the process and the amount of thinking and the frustrations behind it. And I think like now I can like appreciate it to a higher level, and now I think I can even see myself incorporating it when I'm thinking of like new ways to tackle issues in the professional field. So thank you very much for that.
Mic drop. I'm out. Made my day.
Jump right in there. Floor is open. Yes.
I think that whole brainstorming idea, like you said, like bringing in the whole money, like is not an issue thing. It hasn't only helped me like in this setting, like it's also helped me like to figure out what I want to do career-wise. Like, so now I think of it like I'm sitting there and what do I want to do, and then I just bring in like these constraints, and it has, it definitely, like in the beginning, I remember on the first day, like we introduced ourselves and you guys asked us what do we want to do, like once we graduate. Like throughout the course of this course, actually, like I've changed because of the way you guys made me think, and like it solidified my like wanting to go into social work. So like in the beginning it was more like I wanted this position because I want like money and like, you know, like all of that. But then once we put in the constraints, like it brought me to this point where I really want to go into social work, and it's thanks to you guys.
Compliant, because you've been trained to just listen and write down and take notes and give it back to us. The ambiguity in allowing them to get there on their own, there's a certain amount of academic professorial frustration with that, but I have, in witnessing it, it's much more powerful, and it was reflected in your final presentations. Whatever we do moving forward, there's a certain magic in this. The combination. I mean, look at the diversity of this group here. The combination of you. Whatever we do going forward, we don't want to break it.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for this experience as well. I want to say that this experience challenged me, like, especially because I feel like I'm more of an in-the-box type of thinker. So this process was very stressful at first because it caused me to brainstorm. It's not something that I would typically do. If I was in a group setting, I would allow everyone else to do that, and then I would help the actual implementation. But I enjoyed this experience because from all the things that I've learned, it changes like even my everyday routine, like how I think things through. Like even when I'm talking to my family, I was like, well, how can we, well, there's probably another way. It's kind of annoying to them, but like, I really learned a lot. So I just want to thank everybody for this experience.
I just want to say this was easily my favorite class this semester. Without being as stressful as some of my hardcore science courses, I think I learned the most out of this class. I had no clue what design thinking was coming into this. I was like, what is design thinking? I really looked it up after class. I was still like, I don't know what this is. I never really thought of myself as a creative thinker, but after this class, I definitely feel like that has grown. So I just want to thank everyone. And this was a great class.